I'm up to 102 successful recoveries of sentimental items, rings, jewelry, watches, and whatnot.
Thanks so much for taking the time just to give us a little bit of an insight into ring finding on the beach. Again, it's something that well, everyone is going to the beach more often, I think, at the moment where they can. When you go out searching then for things that have been lost or left behind, is there a particular search pattern that you would do? What's the process then after you've chatted to them?
It's getting the information from the people is probably more important than the actual method detecting. Getting in the right spot, so you have to really sort of get as much information from the people as you can with
Mm,
satellite images, any photos they've got of the area where they were, any landmarks, things like that, and then um, it's just gridding it. If you can see your footprints in the sand, it's just mowing the lawn up and down, and
mm.
advancing your footsteps. On a wet beach where you can't see your footprints, use GPS
Yeah.
track, although GPS isn't quite accurate enough to cover every centimeter. The inaccuracy is there
Mm.
still, but it's a good guide. Um, and if I'm on land, I use the little markers for sports to mark out lanes and just
Okay.
just grid it and then putting the hours in potentially, and you need a bit of luck.
What kind of program and what do you do?
For most of my recoveries are on the beach, so I use beach scents, and then I use full tones. And because most of the time they're recent drops, I run it quite fast, so up the reactivity a bit. Um, I think I run a 2 on reactivity, and I lower the audio response to get the perception of depth, so you can tell what's really shallow and what's deeper easier. And a lot
Ah,
of the things that are deeper, I'll just ignore and just carry on. I run iron full volume because I like to hear it. Trying to think what else, but it's mainly just beach scents, full tones,
mm,
and then for land I'll use a similar program but based on sensitive full tones.
interesting.
Just a fairly quick bit of reactivity and a lower audio response.
Okay. But how long would it typically take to find a ring if you
Yeah,
knew roughly where it was?
they've taken over 10 hours over multiple days working with the tides. Some I found literally in 2, 3 seconds when they put me in the right spot.
Right.
But some I've never found, and I've done like over 60 hours looking for certain things and just never found them.
I guess you'd have to have a good appreciation for, reading the beach and looking at the sort of weight of objects in certain parts of the beach and so on. And then, that can give you an indicator of where your mystery object might
Yes.
potentially be.
Yeah, when there's a big swell, you can go down one day and come down the next, and it will look completely different. You
Yeah.
lose that much sand from one spot, and it gets moved around. But I think the ring will actually just go up and just down rather than left and right. So the sand moves around it, I think, or a lot of them I don't find. So, but I think
Yeah.
the ring will just go down, be buried under, 2 feet of sand. You'll never detect it. But
Wow, yeah, 2 foot as well. We want to get you on some of that Treasure Coast or Florida. We put Stephen Andrews there. They'll find a few a few ships in no
yeah,
time.
there's a Stephen Andrews out there, gig master.
Yeah.
People get me mixed up with him. His names start exactly the same.
Any funny or awkward experiences in ring finding? Have you ever found something that someone doesn't want back?
I have actually, yeah. Well, I
Have
don't know
you?
if it was the exact ring, but there was a ring I found put online, and the lady said she threw it away after her divorce. But I don't know if it actually was that ring. There was one I found for a young lad, only a teenager, and he lost a ring at the beach, and I thought it would be, generally there as a silver ring, nothing really expensive, and found a target which was it was in the 30s, and normally that would be a one of those yogurt pop, the yogurt drinks. What are they called? Thought it would be one of
Yeah.
those, and I generally just dig the rubbish and clear it anyway. And this ring came up, and it was gold and silver in color, and I thought it was just a bling ring. Um, and then subsequently found out it was a ring he borrowed from his dad. It was a Bulgari Parentesi ring. It was worth thousands, and
Really?
he borrowed it and lost it down the beach. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so,
Right. Okay.
yeah, he was.
Very
So I
exciting.
got him out of the doghouse.
Why do you do ring recoveries and jewelry recoveries? What's it for you?
I'm community spirited, and I know that people appreciate it. When you hear the stories behind these items, that they're so important, and it's just a good thing to do. You've got the right tool for the job. The DS2 is probably the best tool for that job, I think.
Yeah.
And put your name out there. Follow your lost and found groups in your area, and offer because you can help.